Good evening. I apologize, we have to do a false start. Welcome to the Yorktown Central School District Board of Education meeting for March 6, 2017. Can I have a motion to go into executive session for the matters pertaining to the employment history of a particular individual?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to go back into public session?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Good evening. Welcome to the Yorktown Central School District Board of Education meeting for March 6, 2017. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our armed forces and those in our community who have lost loved ones, especially the father of Joanne Assalone, the father of Chris Stylo, and the mother of Carol Pernicano.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have to start tonight with a public hearing. Patrice, do you want to start the public hearing, or you want us to, we can move things out of order. I don't know whether we want to, public hearing is going to take, what, 5 minutes? Okay. So I have a motion to open the Smart Schools Investment Plan Part 2 public hearing.
So moved.
All those in favor? We have any discussion on the public hearing? There's any public comment on the hearing?
Can you give us a high-level overview?
You want to just give us a high-level overview real quick, Patrice?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, as part of the Smart Schools Bond Act, which was passed in November of 2014, our school district is entitled to $1.4 million in technology improvements. We had our first Smart Schools investment plan approved about a year ago, and we're just finishing up the first project with that to upgrade our infrastructure. We're now about to start on the second half of the plan, which amounts to about $763,000, and we plan to use it for classroom technology. And as was discussed in the board meeting in late January, the classroom technology will include items such as mobile learning devices, interactive displays, and that type of thing. What's different about this plan is that because it's going to fund classroom technology, we're required by the regulations of the Act that we share a portion of it with the non-public schools that are located within our geographic the boundaries of our district. So we've followed the regulations that we've spoken to all of the 6 non-public schools, both in person as well as over the phone, to share with them the plan. So we've had to wait at least 30 days since it was first presented to you at the end of January, giving the public an opportunity to comment. We did not receive any emails in relation to it, so at this point, we'd like to proceed. If you give the go-ahead, then we can submit to the state.
Terrific. Anybody have any questions? No? So if there's no questions, can I have a motion to adopt the Smart Schools Bond Act Investment Plan Part 2?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If you don't mind, I'd like to do a point of order and move something to the top of the agenda. Is everybody okay with it?
Public comment?
Before public comment. As a resolution, I would like to read. Whereas Dr. Ralph Napolitano's career in education has spanned 43 years, including serving in the roles of teacher, building principal, assistant superintendent, and superintendent of schools. And whereas Dr. Napolitano has served as a superintendent of schools for the Yorktown Central School District since 2006 with dedication and commitment, and has led the school district with intelligence, insight, excellence, and a sense of humor. And whereas during Dr. Napolitano's tenure as superintendent of schools, he has worked to strengthen and enhance the school district's academic program, including co-curricular and extracurricular activities, to provide a well-rounded educational experience for all students to ensure that they leave school prepared and committed to lead and serve their community and society. And whereas under Dr. Napolitano's tutelage, the school district has created a rich digital teaching and learning environment that facilitates, enhances, and supports all aspects of curriculum. And whereas under Dr. Napolitano's guidance and leadership, as well as through his commitment to character education and personal modeling of honesty, integrity, and character, the Yorktown Central School District in 2016 was designated as a statewide school district of character, and then as a national school district of character, an honor granted to only 4 school districts in the entire country. Whereas Dr. Napolitano has submitted his letter of resignation for the purposes of retirement effective July 7, 2017, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Yorktown Central School District publicly recognizes Dr. Napolitano's years of outstanding service, hard work, dedication, and commitment to this school district and its students, and be it further resolved that the Board of Education hereby accepts Dr. Napolitano's resignation for the purposes of retirement with sadness and expresses its deep gratitude to him for his years of distinguished service and for positively affecting the education of students in this school district, and wishes him good health, happiness, and contentment as he retires from the school district. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
That's the slowest you've ever written.
I know, that was hard to read. Are you okay, Ralph? Do you want to have public comment, or would you like to speak? All right, anybody wishing to speak is welcome to speak. Okay. Ralph, you have been the most wonderful superintendent for 11 years. There isn't much more I can say to that without having tears. You deserve a lot more than we've ever given you, and we thank you for everything you have done for us. Anybody else?
Did a great job.
I think we should take a 5-minute break.
Yep.
We're going to finish off our personnel agenda. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion that the following be approved. We have an administrative leave, leaves of absence, a resignation for purpose of retirement of Carol Fabrizio, seasonal substitute appointments, and another resignation of classified personnel for purpose of retirement.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Sorry. What are we up to now?
Budget presentation.
Yeah, hang on, I can't,
It's slow.
it is slow. Okay, we're up to the budget presentation, the instructional piece. Who's doing the budget presentation?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's
Okay, Ralph.
Mr. Cole is going to do our 5th budget presentation this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Napolitano. This is indeed the 5th presentation in our 2017-2018 budget series. Tonight's presentation is the largest section of the budget, covering the entire instruction spectrum and the employees' benefit section of the budget. This slide is a reminder of the core beliefs of the Yorktown Central School District. These core beliefs center around our students and guide our decision-making in all areas every day. As always, our budget decisions are also guided by the philosophy of the education of the whole child. You've seen this chart in every presentation we deliver. We'll begin by discussing instruction. The organizational chart here depicts the instruction organization that reports to the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and then ultimately, as with all organizations in the school district, to the Superintendent of Schools. This chart represents nearly 500 employees in a variety of different capacities. Enrollment is expected to decline slightly K through 12 next year. Overall, we expect enrollment to decline by nearly 50 students. Every decision made with regard to staffing levels and support services has, at its core, the projected level of student enrollment. Instruction includes an aligned and articulated curriculum that is under continuous review. This curriculum is paired with strong instructional practices, as well as a multifaceted assessment system that measures student growth. Student programs and services are available in order to serve all of our learners and support our philosophy of the whole child. Instruction includes the integration of technology and opportunities available through comprehensive library media centers that enhance student growth. Yorktown Central School District has a culture of continuous learning for students, staff, and administrators. The areas of focus are outlined above. We will continue to work on curriculum alignment with a focus on the Common Core Learning Standards for ELA and math, as well as the new New York State Standards for Science and Social Studies. We will increase our technology usage, provide online assessments, and analyze data to inform instruction. We will continue to focus on the whole child, and we will participate in endeavors that support student growth in all areas. Here's a quick look at some of the BOCES services included in the budget for 2017-2018. All of the services are being utilized in the current school year. The instructional staff throughout the school district includes the titles listed above. For the 2017-18 school year, we're proposing the inclusion of 3 contingent positions to be placed in the budget to react to any upward influences on enrollment and/or mandated compliance issues. As we discussed, the entirety of the instruction section of the budget represents just over 500 employees. Here's a breakdown of the number of employees by each category for the current year. IDEA requires that school districts provide a free and appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment to every student with a disability through the age of 21, or earlier if a high school diploma is awarded. The Pupil Services Department is responsible for the following key provisions of IDEA: child find, multidisciplinary, non-discriminatory assessment and reevaluation, committees on special education, disability categories and eligibility determinations, individualized education programs, special education programs, placements and related services, access to general education curriculum, transition planning, parental consent, procedural safeguards and confidentiality, timeliness, dispute resolution, and discipline. Again, the organizational chart for pupil services. The director of PPS is Mr. Mike Rosen. He, along with many other administrators, are here this evening and will be available for questions later on. Students are eligible for special education services if the Committee on Special Education or the Committee on Preschool Special Education determines there are significant weaknesses in the learning that impact classroom performance and the student's ability to access the general education curriculum. For school-age students, the committee must determine eligibility based on the following 13 disability classifications: autism, deafness, deaf-blindness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, learning disability, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment and other health impairment, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury, or visual impairment, including blindness. This chart reflects numbers of special education students from the October snapshot data for each year. We use the October date for each year to show trends. The number of preschool students with disabilities is 72 and will be approximately 100 by the end of the school year, which is a typical trend. The number of classified preschool students as of the October snapshot fluctuates each year based on the following variables: number of parent referrals, the number of students who transition from early intervention to preschool by August 31st each year. Total school-age students with disabilities is 536, of which 41 are placed in out-of-district special education programs. In keeping with the regulations of New York State, the Yorktown Central School District is required to provide special education services to students who attend private schools within the Yorktown Central School District who are school-aged, not preschool. We are responsible for all aspects of child find, evaluation, and the development of individual education service plans and the implementation of recommended services. For Yorktown students with disabilities who are placed by their parents in local private settings, we have District of Residence responsibilities, which includes convening annual review meetings and the development of the individual education program. Our District of Location responsibilities include the 6 private schools: St. Patrick's, Our Montessori, the Seed, Soundview Prep, Bright Beginnings, and the Goddard School. Section 504 defines disability differently than the 13 categories specified in the IDEA for special education. Students determined to have a mental or physical disorder substantially limiting or major life activity and who are not eligible for special education services may be eligible for protection under Section 504 and may receive an accommodation plan to ensure opportunity and access comparable to that of non-disabled peers. Yorktown Central School District utilizes a variety of combination, Yvette, I think we're on the next slide, continuum of services. There we go. Yorktown Central School District utilizes a variety of combinations of special education supports and services to serve students with disabilities in both general education settings and special education settings. These programs are designed to promote meaningful access, participation, and progress in the general curriculum. This slide shows the continuum of services from least to most restrictive and refers to places and locations where specified special education services are delivered. The continuum represents how restrictive recommended placements and locations of services and programs are regarded. Under IDEA New York State regulations, recommended programs and services are regarded as more or less restrictive based upon the extent of meaningful access to non-disabled peers. Depending on the needs of an individual student, the CSE, in determining the least restrictive environment for that student, could consider a program that is a combination of various services. For example, the CSE can recommend a student for special class for a portion of the day and/or for specific subjects, and integrated co-teaching services for the parts of the day and/or for other subjects. Related services are those that assist a student in benefiting from other special education services or assist a student in accessing the general curriculum. Related services means developmental, corrective, and other supportive services as required to assist a student with a disability. Related services include, but are not limited to, speech-language, pathology, audiology services, vision services, physical therapy, occupational therapy, counseling services, orientation and mobility services, and parent counseling and training. The budget includes the cost for tuitions for students who are recommended by the CSE for programs out of district. We currently have 6 students who attend recommended special education programs within other local public schools, 16 students who attend Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES programs, 2 who attend Southern Westchester BOCES programs, 12 who attend private day schools, and 5 who attend residential schools. The district is responsible for 100% of maintenance charges for residential students for the summer months, and 38% of maintenance charges for residential students during the school year. The district is also responsible for dormitory authority reimbursement payments as a rate set by the New York State Department of Education for students attending Green Chimney School and the Summit School. We currently have 18 special education students who attend full-day special education programs within Putnam Northern Westchester and Southern Westchester BOCES. The budget includes costs for tuitions and related services for these students. There was an increase of 2.6 special education teachers for the 2015-16 school year based on student needs. During last year, the full-time equivalent was 45.2. This year, it's 47.8. However, there has been an overall decrease in the special education staffing since the 2011-2012 school year, when it was 50.6. This can be attributed to efficiencies in programming. However, as we are currently at or over maximum capacity for certain programs, and we anticipate the need to add additional personnel next school year. In recent years, we have decreased our speech FTEs from 7.5 to 7, again based on student need and program organization. We have the same number of nurses, 8, which includes nursing support in all 5 of our buildings, as well as the St. Patrick's School and our Montessori School on a part-time basis, both private schools within the boundaries of our school district. We continue to review all CSC procedures to ensure compliance with all state mandates as part of the eligibility process for special education. The CSC reviews all RTI data, which can include building-level intervention services in the areas of reading, math, speech, occupational therapy, and social-emotional supports. In an effort to better capture the services and progress monitoring for students over time, we'll continue to utilize an online RTI data management system. When planning for special education programs, we consider future needs over a multi-year period. For example, based on our 3- and 4-year-old preschoolers, we can determine the types of programs students will need as those students enter kindergarten. For the 2017-18 school year, we are altering the provision of speech-language therapy at the middle school by implementing a 3-to-1 protocol, which will provide the speech therapist an opportunity to support students within the classroom setting during a 1-week period each month. When planning our special education programs and supports in the area of reading, we will review current documentation of student needs to determine if additional reading support is required at the K-5 level. This year, a team of psychologists, social workers, guidance counselors, and teachers have participated in multi-day training sessions on building an RTI system to address social and emotional needs. We have developed consultative teams and plan to introduce a Step A curriculum within health classes at Yorktown High School and within the strategies and organization classes at the middle school during the 17-18 school year. Next, we'll move on to technology. We're proud to say that with a very small technology support staff, we're able to manage a state-of-the-art technology infrastructure that provides access to a growing number of digital tools for over 4,000 users. Our successful partnership with EduTech, coupled with our dedicated district employees, enables us to offer the latest in mobile learning and a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week access to most resources. There's very little that happens in our district that does not involve either the network and/or access to the internet. Our students and staff have come to expect immediate access to their own content and other web-based resources. Our G Suite for Education platform provides 24/7 access from any type of device and from any location. We are quickly moving away from the traditional desktops and laptops to a more mobile learning environment. Chromebooks have been a real game changer for our schools. They're simple, fast, versatile, and inexpensive. It's just as easy to manage 3,000 Chromebooks as it is to manage 300. In addition, we are very active Bring Your Own Technology learning community, which offers more options to staff and students for access. Classrooms are outfitted with either a smartboard, an interactive display, or a large-screen TV monitor. Other devices that run on our network include our phone system, our security cameras, and our security entry system. We have a long-standing relationship with Best Web, who has been our internet service provider for a number of years. They are currently completing a district-wide cabling project that is being funded through the Smart Schools bond monies. The additional cable runs allow us to install more wireless access points. This slide and the next provide a very brief overview of the type of applications we support. We are in year 4 of our Google transition. The move to the Google platform was another game changer for everyone. It's hard to remember what it was like before that transition. Google's collaborative capabilities have transformed how we learn and work. Go Guardian is a very powerful 24/7 monitoring tool that we use for all students in grades 6 through 10 that are given Chromebooks. Here is a list of some of the applications we support. Here is a sample of some of the many curriculum apps used by our students. We are continuing to move quickly down the mobile learning path. The goal is to make mobile learning as easy, accessible, and reliable as picking up a pencil. With that said, we'll be expanding the one-to-one Chromebook initiative to include eight grade levels, 4 through 11. We are exploring all-in-one interactive displays as possible solution for the older, failing smartboards and projectors. Finally, we are close to completing a full district-wide network refresh and an expansion of our wireless network with the availability of our first round of Smart Schools funding. Now we'll go over total costs in the budget. Here's a summary of the total teaching sections of the budget. As you can see, the bottom line increases by $554,000, or in percentage terms, 1%. The teaching regular school line increases as a basis of the contractual increases applied to teacher salaries. Special education costs decline as a result of the decline in out-of-district tuition costs, including BOCES programs, and the elimination of 2 contingent teaching positions that were placed in last year's budget but not repeated for 2017-2018. Educational television costs declined as a result of eliminating educational television does not decline, by the way. Technology costs increased due to the expansion of the EduTech services and the inclusion of a 1.0 data analyst position. Guidance department costs decreased because 1.0 FTE clerical position was transferred to the transportation department in the 2016-17 school year. That position will not be backfilled in the guidance department. BOCE services also decline in this area of the budget. We'll now discuss the benefits section of the budget. These costs are not allocated to the individual areas of the budget. The 2 primary cost drivers in this section are the teacher's retirement system and health insurance lines. The teacher's retirement system costs the school district experiences are mandated by the state of New York. The pension benefit is embedded in the state constitution. The school district pays a percentage of total teacher salaries to the pension system each year. The contribution rate that school districts pay is directly related to the health of the state pension system's investments. The better the investment returns, the lower the district contribution rate. The rate of required contribution can fluctuate wildly from year to year. Last year, the rate for school districts was 11 cents of every dollar in teacher salaries paid. Next year, that rate declines to 9.8 cents of every dollar paid. The result is a budgetary savings of $795,000. It should be noted that since 1980, the highest rate of contribution has reached to over 23 cents of every dollar paid in salary. The health insurance costs increased due to an 8% rise in premium. The 8% figure is high, but frankly not as high as other plans are experiencing in the region. Our health insurance consortium has increased employee copays and reduced some benefit access in an attempt to mitigate an otherwise larger increase. We've provided you with a great deal of information in this presentation. We'll be glad to entertain any questions and comments you have. The Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum obviously is here, and the directors responsible for special education and technology are also here to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a lot of information. Where do we want to start? Cheryl, do you want to ask any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, I guess, for Patrice around technology. I know right now we've implemented the one-to-one Chromebook initiative model. How is that working, and what are our plans as far as moving forward with that?
Well, what we've learned over the last couple of years is that the lifespan of a Chromebook, if someone takes care of it responsibly, will last about 3 years. So that's how we made the decision that if we give a student a device in the 4th grade, they'll have it for 3 years, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then we give them a new one in 7th for those 3 years, and then in 10th for the 3 years. So that's the model where we're managing now. This with the start of the next school year, we'll have grades 4 through 11, each with their own device, and I think it's working pretty well. Okay.
Thank you.
Tom? Mike, and Patrice, you want to come sit at the table with us? Pull up a chair.
Actually, I've got two questions. One, I guess, would be for Lisa. It looks like we have about 120 CTAs. About half of them are deployed in special ed. How do we decide how to deploy those other 60 or so CTAs?
So the other CTAs that we have that are not on special education assignments, we have a CTA in each of our kindergarten classes. We have CTA support in our libraries, in our science labs, in our computer labs. They support our nurse's office as well as our AIS programs. And some of those numbers also are TAs who support lunch and recess supervision.
Okay, thanks. One follow-up for Tom regarding the health insurance increase of about 8.5%. If you believe what the politicians were saying during the election cycle last year, it seemed that the pace of increase in health care costs was at least slowing down a little bit, and 8.5 seems high. Do we compare ourselves to some sort of national standard, and how do we compare?
Well, we do know that there are, depending on which state you live in, because there are different state to state, there are a number of regions that are experiencing significantly higher premium increases than we have. I do believe that if the consortium leadership that we have here, the component districts that we have, hadn't taken the steps that they did take, our increase would have been over 10%.
Okay.
So I think that was a job well done.
So we're doing everything we can to
Yes,
avoid some of the increase anyway.
yes.
Okay.
Reshma?
This may be a question for Lisa. Would you be able to give us some insight into the homeschooled students, how many there are and how we support them?
So currently, we have about 25 students who are homeschooled in our district from kindergarten through grade 12. On the curriculum instruction page of the website, there is a homeschool handbook, and that really outlines for parents what the responsibilities of the parents are and the responsibilities of the district. So by July 1st, a parent needs to send a letter to Dr. Knapp indicating their intent to homeschool their student. We get an IHIP, which is an individualized homeschool plan, and we have the right to look at it and to make sure that it meets all of the requirements necessary for the grade level of the student, and that includes assessment protocols, and we get quarterly progress reports from the parents, and that's all reviewed in the curriculum office.
Thank you.
Mike?
Tom, you might have mentioned this, but I think I missed it. Computer-assisted instruction, the line item increase there is due to what?
That is the addition of 1.0 data position for the data analyst section of the budget. And I'm sorry, let me go back to my notations here.
Yeah, that would
Oh, an expansion of the edutech time that we're using for
Okay,
industry.
thank you.
Christine?
Mike, could you just elaborate a little bit on the Committee for Preschool Children, Preschool Education, and how the numbers in our preschool are indicators as to what types of placements we will look to open, or classes we would look to open in the district the following year?
Yeah, we keep up to date on all the students, 3 to 4 years old, try to stay 2 years ahead of it, the programs that they receive in preschool. And really look to if they're in a special class, if they're in integrated preschool programs or receiving related services. So we can look for cohorts and trends that are coming forward towards kindergarten. We observe our incoming kindergartners every year, really look to have 2 years of information and then really spend that 1 year before they come to kindergarten planning ahead for the appropriate programs. That's why we've been able to expand our 812 classes for children with autism and really decrease the amount of students who have been going out of district over the years.
Okay.
We've seen a bit of an increase with, I know in the numbers it talked about the 72 preschoolers. It really goes in, preschoolers transition to from early intervention to preschool based on when they turn 3. Students who turn 3 from January through August come to us in September, and that's why they're part of that October snapshot. And almost every other year, we get a large number who turn 3 during that time period. In the other years, they might stay in early intervention until December 31st and not be part of that October snapshot count.
So is that not a trend? Is it a trend of increasing preschool students, or is it just an anomaly for their
It's when they come to us, but the end result always seems to be about 100 students are receiving services through the Committee on Preschool Special Education come June.
So we stay consistent.
We're very consistent with that number. At the end, it's always when they come to us changes.
Okay. I see that we were reducing contingency positions within the special ed department. Is that because we're keeping overall contingency positions? And, because you were saying there were increases in areas of need in special education. I just want to make sure we're not under budgeting for the needs of special ed.
We still have 3 in the, last year we had 5 in total, 2 specifically in special education, and then 3 because we knew we were having growth in both areas. But we do believe that the 3 positions are enough for all of the expectations that we have for next year.
Okay.
Can you just clarify? It's 3 total, right? It's not
Yes.
3 in special ed?
That's correct.
Right, there were 5 total last year, 3 regular and 2 special ed. They took out the 2
This year,
in special ed, too.
they're all in regular ed, yeah.
Right.
Cheryl, anything else? Tom?
No, good.
Mike?
So, Tom, I guess this is it. We have 8 nursing positions,
That's correct.
and we had several retirements, right? But we have to replace all of those positions, correct?
That's correct. We've had 2 retirements from the nursing section, and we'll replace both of them in kind.
Okay.
Christine, anything else? Patrice, is there ever a thought to whether we're going to add Chromebooks in the very lower grades, K and 1?
That, it's kind of hard to compete with the iPad. And it really is. And for children at that level, they need the touch screen. That's what they're used to. So what we're looking at right now, we're continuing to look at the iPad, and we have quite a few iPads at that level. But we're also looking at they've come out with touchscreen Chromebooks, and some actually flip completely back and turn into a tablet. And so it has a similar experience to the iPad. They're a bit heavier than the iPad. So we just got a few last week, and we're testing them out at Brookside and Mohansick. So ultimately, it'll really be the teachers at the kindergarten and first grade level that decide which, what they feel is the best device for kids at that level. We do have some first graders already learning how to log on to a Chromebook, so that's still, we're looking at that very carefully, and the teachers are and at that level will really make that decision.
Do they use the technology differently in kindergarten and first than they do when they start to get to second grade and start to use it for more curriculum type of work?
It's more apps at the lower grade levels, whereas by the time they get to third grade, they're able to create content themselves using more the typical to what the older kids and adults are using. They're using the Google tools and that type of thing. But at the kindergarten and first grade level, it's a lot of apps that they're using.
Okay. So I guess my question is it really necessary to have them have one-on-one devices at the lower levels? I understand getting them at second grade.
Mm-hmm.
If we have enough for them do they really need, take-home devices?
Mm-hmm.
I think, what Patrice is saying about the apps, we do have a handful in all of the classes that the teachers will share, and it works for now, but we want to make sure that we're prepared in the event that we are expanding their opportunities at the K-1 level, and our teachers are really embracing, even at that level, all the new technology that comes out.
I just wanted to clarify, I may have misheard what you said, Jackie, but even when we provide devices to children at the lower grade levels, like the fourth grade, they all have their own device. That does not leave school.
Oh, okay.
That begins, the 24/7 access, we start at the sixth grade level.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. Any other questions from anybody? I think you guys have done a good job again. I mean, as always, thank you. All right. We're good? All right. We can move on. We're in adoption of policies. We have a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of the following policies. We have 1510, fundraising by school-related organizations, 1511, advertising and solicitation in the schools, and 5251, fundraising by school-sponsored organizations and clubs.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you for reviewing them, Cheryl.
Yep, good job.
We have a capital reserve fund proposition. Be it resolved that the following proposition be placed on the ballot at the annual district meeting for the voters of the Yorktown Central School District to be conducted on May 16, 2017. A capital reserve fund proposition. Shall the Yorktown Central School District be authorized to establish a capital reserve fund pursuant to Section 3651 of the Education Law to be designated as the Buildings and Facilities Improvement Reserve Fund, which shall be for the purpose of paying all or a portion of the cost of the construction of additions to improvements to reconstruction, renovation, and equipping the school district buildings, facilities, and athletic facilities, including original furnishings, equipment, machinery, apparatus, apertures, planning costs, and site and incidental improvements and expenses in connection therewith. The maximum amount of the fund shall be $12 million plus accrued interest and investments earnings thereon, with a maximum term of 10 years. The source of the funding to be unexpended, unassigned fund balance in the general fund at the end of each fiscal year and/or legally available funds available to the district. If necessary, due to space constraints on the budget, the said proposition shall be abbreviated as below. And be it further resolved that the district clerk is authorized and directed to cause this proposition to be published in the designated newspapers in accordance with the law.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much for all the hard work you guys have done on this. I hope the voters believe it is a good idea. All right, we're up to special education. We have budget transfers. A motion to approve the following budget transfers below.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I have special education placements. A motion to approve the following special education placements as of March 6, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We have PIPs. We have a motion to approve the following professional improvement PIPs for 2 nurses.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We have gifts, grants, and donations. A motion to approve the following gifts, grants, and donations with gratitude from to the athletic department: $9,434 from the Huskers Club for the purchase of a scoreboard for the upper grass field and to defray the installation costs. And to the Yorktown High School Dance Company, $1,020 from Rosemary Gridley to be used for dance costumes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much for your generosity. We are up to public comment again. Anybody wishing to speak? We will go to board comment. Christine? You could start.
Okay. I'm not sure where to begin, and I have not written my speech yet, but I will be writing a speech. I think tonight was an extremely challenging night and very sentimental. Dr. Napolitano, in the last 7 years that I have known you on a professional but personal level, having sat across from you at many of our executive meetings and having had you serve as my children's superintendent for the 12 years that you've been here, but obviously my kids have been in the district a little longer. You truly are a class act. You're a brilliant man. You're very kind. You're very compassionate. You're humanistic. You have taught me, I think you have taught us, our purpose, and the purpose is always keeping children at the forefront. And having had the fact that I have an education background, you continue to teach me each and every day. And you have that magical gift, the magical skill of bringing people together, recognizing people for their talents, never being judgmental. And as far as I'm concerned, I will continue to call upon you as a mentor. I will continue to seek you out for your wisdom, for your guidance. I think you're one of the kindest, most compassionate human beings I've ever met. And to be continued. I think that this is just all part of the journey, and I'm hoping that our professional relationship will always continue, and you will continue to mentor me as I continue to shape lives across our county here.
You want to go next, Mike?
Well, that was pretty good for not having written anything, I have to say. That was very
I
good.
did not. That's one of my
Very
gifts.
nice.
I can do that.
Good job.
You're a speechwriter in the
Good
district.
job.
I can do that. That's a gift.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole saying goodbye thing tonight. I'll save that for another night. I would like to just commend Jackie for putting together this evening, and I know you didn't have anything to do with all the faculty showing up, but you spent a lot of time putting together the words that you read, and to me that was time well spent and very much worthwhile, and I thank you for taking that on behalf of the board. That was a huge undertaking this weekend, and I know you put a lot of heart and soul into it, so thank you for that.
We'll admit that we had Margot write that, but that's okay. We love Margot.
That was not lawyerese, so I know it wasn't Margot.
Freshman?
So, Dr. Knapp, I've had the privilege and the honor to work with you in many different capacities in the PTSA, the foundation, and now on the board. I would like you to know that you will always be remembered. You will be missed as the very, very best. But I wish you the very best. But you're still here with us for a little longer, so I know we will hold on to you even longer if we could.
Tom?
I'll keep it short. I'm sure we'll get another chance to say goodbye, but I just wanted to say that, the last 7 years for me on this board, Ralph, have been a learning experience, and a lot of that comes from you. You've made me, want to be a better person, a better board member, and I really appreciate that, so thank you.
And I echo what Mike said. Your words were beautiful, Jackie. Really, and they are very well representative of, I think, of how we all feel. But I just want to say the one thing I admire about you most, and it's sort of one of those things, what would Jesus do? But I always think to myself, your integrity is so remarkable. There are often times when making decisions within the district, whether it's the PTA or if it was on the board, I always think, what would Dr. Knapp do? Because one thing about you is just you're one of the most honest people I've ever met. And that's what I always hold it up against that test. And what a role model you've been for our students, our parents, and for us as board members. And I thank you for that.
And they said it all, so I don't have much to say other than we still have 6 months to go, so you're not going anywhere. But you have been a tremendous teacher to me. You have been a teacher to everybody. I know you've always said you've never left the classroom. Your classroom just got bigger, and I think we have been better because you have been our teacher, so we thank you for that. Tom, Lisa, go ahead.
I'm going to say pretty much what everyone else has said, but Ralph, you are certainly one of the most honorable men I know, and I can say that. I say one of the because I have to consider my father and my husband as well. I have to say, when I met you 9 years ago, from the moment you came and did the site visit where I was in my previous district, how gracious you were at that opportunity, at every opportunity that I've had with you since then. I've been so amazed by your generosity of time and spirit in helping me grow as an administrator, and I think what's more important, not only the people who came out tonight for you from our district, but just from Friday and today being in a couple of our buildings, to the staff that really say, what are we going to do now? Dr. Knapp is YCSD. What are we going to do now? So your impact is going to be felt for such a long time, and I'm so thankful personally and professionally that I've gotten to spend this time learning and working with you. Thank you.
My perspective spans 17 years here in Yorktown, and quite a variety of different types of status of the district at any one time. But I will say this, I've been working now for about 32 years. Men and leaders such as yourself come across perhaps somebody's lifespan once if they're fortunate. We have benefited from your presence and your leadership, and in significant ways. The facility we sit in, the education our kids get, the banners on the wall that speak to character, those are things that 16 years ago, if I was to sit here would have seemed inconceivable at the time. And that is no coincidence that we are sitting here tonight to say thank you. And had the resolution that was read tonight included all of your accomplishments, we'd still be reading the resolution. So we thank you for bringing stability and honor back to the profession that we all enjoy here in Yorktown.
Thank you. That was well said by everybody. That's why I love this team. We could fill in for each other's words. I'd ask you to speak, but I don't think that's possible, so I'm just going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?